We have not been ignoring Trump. We just haven't had anything new to add to the discourse surrounding him. And Trump is bad is not enough of a conversation to have that actually, I think, is beneficial to the listenership. Now, I do agree that I absolutely agree that he is, I mean, barring some, rapid decline in health or some other like massive event, there's no denying he's going to be the Republican candidate. It would shock me otherwise. So obviously, between now and election time next year, it's inevitable that we're going to have to discuss this dipshit on the fairly regular. Just because, likewise, as I said, we're not ignoring him. Likewise, we're not planning to ignore him. It's just we wanted to have something of note to say outside of he's a shit. Now, as far as I will disagree with one particular turn of phrase that the timekeeper used, and this will sound like a bit of a tangent. I will get back to the main subject in a moment, but this was something I was actually planning on talking about anyway. The timekeeper said something to the effect of, the Democrats will do their best to, either win the election or, make the case against Trump, et cetera, et cetera. I actually disagree with that because I don't think they've done their best in any way, shape, or form. And the reason that I say that with this particular tone of voice is because I had heard this week, and Jason, I'm assuming you'd probably be familiar with this. If not, you're about to be, but let me know, when I throw it back to you, if this is something that was already on your radar, that apparently Biden's campaign are now putting Hillary Clinton in a high profile position of authority in the campaign moving forward. And I have no reason to disbelieve this reporting. It's possible it could change, but as of right now, I don't think the story is incorrect as far as the intention. And when I first heard that, I was just like, so let me just see if I got this right. You all want to take the one person that Trump has ever defeated in an election, not counting the primaries, because for counting the primaries, you could, in fairness, throw a lot of Republicans on that list as well. But as far as a general national election, you want to take the one person that he has ever actually won against and then put them in charge of the campaign that is floundering of the person that absolutely ran roughshod over him in the electoral college and the popular vote last time. That's your strategy. That's what you want to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the polling has been disastrous for Biden recently. I'm not saying that Biden's campaign should just keep running the course. No, I think Biden should fucking do something if he actually wants to win an election. And part of that is he should fucking show up for debates and actually be part of a Democratic primary process, because that's something that's something that both he and Trump have in common, as that neither one of them have any interest in any type of democracy as long as that democracy does not directly benefit them. Biden has refused to participate in debates, even though he has primary challengers. Trump has refused to engage in debates, despite the fact that he has primary challengers. And of those two, I think it's actually more damning that Biden is not participating because he is currently the elected president. Trump, if he's running and then he decides he doesn't want to debate, I think that's shitty. But I think it says more when Biden as a president is refusing to participate in presidential debates than, like, if you're not willing to do that, or if you can't do that, then you need to not be running and then hand it off to and I don't think Harris would be a good candidate. And obviously she would be the first, the next in line, barring a break from the normal norms. But, I don't think she would be, I think she's been horrible as a vice president. But regardless of whether it was her or somebody else, like, if you're not willing to do the work to participate in that process, then you don't have the right to just declare it and, manipulate the rules and stuff. And because that's in another way supporting a dictatorship where you don't have to debate, you don't have to answer to anybody, you don't have to prove anything. Biden won the election last time solely based off the fact that he was not Trump. And that was enough to get it done the first time. I don't think that argument is going to be enough again without any type of actual substance behind it. And so I don't think they've been doing their best. I think it's been less about actually preserving democracy and more about just preserving the bubble of power that they have with their friends and their people that have been in that position for years, of which Hillary Clinton is absolutely one of them. So I think they're both absolutely disasters. I don't mean in the same way. I'm not saying they're two sides of the same coin. Absolutely not. Like Jason had mentioned before, and I believe the timekeeper had mentioned in the email as well, or if not, it certainly has come up before, is that Biden is not against the peaceful transfer of power, and that is a very massive distinction to make. Whereas Trump very much absolutely is. So when it's him that's having to give up the power. So again, I'm not saying that those two men are equal. I'm not saying that their two levels of badness are equal. I'm not making an equivalency because I think that's foolish. But I also think Biden needs to do more than not be Trump this time around. And I think putting Hillary as a higher up in his campaign just shows how absolutely non-serious they are when it comes to actually winning a legitimate fight instead of just keeping the donor cash rolling in and keeping the people that they owe favors to happy.
Right,
Jason,
Dave.
your thoughts?
Here's the deal, yo. It's interesting that the timekeeper came back after, I don't know, probably a few months since he's emailed us, or she or whoever emailed us, the timekeeper. And always is the one, it seems, is got the liberal pulse on the absolute apocalyptic finality of our democracy based on the Republican MAGA party and Donald Trump. And I appreciate the timekeeper. I think they've always been with us throughout our entire history of this podcast, and it has contributed greatly. We've gotten a lot of feedback just on the timekeeper's emails. So, he is definitely somebody that drives the conversation in our community. But here's what I can say to the timekeeper. We are not, as Dave might have pointed out, we are not trying to avoid or ignore the shit stain that is Donald J. Trump. We are not. The issue is that for the entire history of this podcast, where we built a lot of our audience, specifically in 2020, the year of cotton candy, we had the distinction of being probably one of the top podcasts, certainly in personal journaling, just shooting the shit two guys about the life and times we lived in under the pre-dictatorship of Donald J. Trump. And I think we did a great job of chronicling what a piece of dog shit he is. We hate that man coming and going for a year and a half, maybe 2 years solid, because there was no ignoring him. He was involved in every single societal issue that happened, whether it was cotton candy, Black Lives Matter, the black bag stormtroopers of Portland, the clearing out of Washington D.C. With gunfire, so he could get a picture of an upside down Bible he never read. We covered it all. But I do understand that for probably about 20% of our audience out there, we did get you. We hooked you with the championing of Donald Trump, and we need a change in this government. I get that. I get that. But until recently, we have had nothing more to say other than, and there's enough podcasts out there and enough other social commentary out there that is covering this. Okay. So we are not ignoring that. We are not hiding from that. We understand that. But I have to also say this, for a lot of the dozens out there, you send in emails daily to us that are showing Donald Trump is coming back. Donald Trump is going to face Biden again. Donald Trump might just possibly win again. Donald Trump is going to win the presidency again. We get a lot of this. We get tons of it, maybe more than I even share with Dave, to be honest with you, because we're just interested in talking about other shit. Now, having said that, the reason why we read the Timekeepers, because he's one of our premium platinum listeners. We're going to read anything probably that the Timekeeper sends in. But on top of that, it is time. It is about time that we start talking about the return of this absolute piece of shit dictator strongman. There is absolutely, now's the time.